Welcome back to the Lost Tactician. In the museums of the world, behind climate-controlled glass, lie fragments of fabric that defy logic. Crimson robes from ancient Egypt still burn with the intensity of fresh blood. Indigo-dyed linens from medieval Europe retain their oceanic depth after 8 centuries. These aren't anomalies. They're testaments to a sophisticated chemical warfare waged by pre-industrial artisans against time itself. Today, we're excavating the forgotten arsenal of dyers who achieved what modern industry struggles to replicate, colors that refuse to surrender to sunlight, water, or the relentless march of centuries. This is the story of survival, not of soldiers in trenches, but of knowledge refined through millennia, techniques that preserved the identity of civilizations, and hues that outlasted empires. Stand in the textile halls of any major museum and you'll witness something extraordinary. While parchments crumble and metals corrode, certain ancient fabrics glow with defiant vibrancy. The secret lies in what dyers called fastness, the marriage of color to fiber so complete that nothing could divorce them. Pre-industrial artisans understood chemistry without naming it, manipulating molecular bonds with an intuition born from countless generations of trial, error, and meticulous observation. From the Phoenician coast to the workshops of medieval Florence, from the indigo pits of West Africa to the madder fields of Anatolia, humanity developed parallel technologies that achieved the same astonishing result: permanence in a temporary world. The pre-industrial dyer's toolkit was nature's pharmacy, and every ingredient told a story of trade, conquest, and survival. Madder root, Rubia tinctorum, yielded the reds that colored Roman togas and Ottoman silks, a brilliant scarlet so reliable that it became the foundation of European dyeing for 2,000 years. Farmers cultivated it like gold, knowing that the compound alizarin locked within its roots could command princely sums. But red had an even more precious source. Cochineal insects, harvested from Mexican cacti by Aztec and Mixtec peoples, contained carminic acid of such intensity that a single pound required 70,000 crushed bodies. When Spanish conquistadors shipped it back to Europe, it revolutionized textile markets and funded empires. For blue, artisans turned to indigo, extracted from the leaves of Indigofera tinctoria through a process that seemed more alchemy than craft. Fresh indigo leaves contain no blue pigment. The color only emerges through precise fermentation, a carefully managed bacterial transformation that converts precursor compounds into the blue that would adorn everything from Japanese workwear to West African ceremonial cloth. In Europe, woad provided a native alternative, its cultivation so economically vital that some regions made growing competitive plants illegal. Yellow came from weld and saffron, the latter so expensive that, well, laws actually punished dye merchants who diluted it with cheaper substitutes. Even minerals played their role, ochres and iron compounds adding earth tones and blacks to the spectrum. Here's where pre-industrial dyers revealed their mastery. Plant and insect dyes alone, honestly, wash out pretty easily, their color molecules just too large or chemically incompatible to bond with protein or cellulose fibers. The solution was mordanting, from the French to bite, treating fabric with metallic salts that create molecular bridges between dye and fiber. This wasn't just simple soaking, it was orchestrated chemistry that required timing, temperature control, and a real understanding of how different mordants could transform the very same dye into entirely different colors. Alum, which was mined from volcanic regions or, laboriously evaporated from mineral springs, was really the workhorse mordant. It brightened colors and worked with almost every natural dye out there. Iron sulfate, on the other hand, darkened hues, turning yellow dyes to olive and red dyes to those somber purples and blacks. Absolutely perfect for creating the dark woolens that clothed medieval Europe's working classes. Tannins, which came from oak galls or sumac, prepared fibers and, well, added their own subtle shades. The process demanded patience. Fabrics might spend weeks in multiple baths, with each step carefully sequenced. First came the mordant bath, sometimes heated, and always stirred to ensure even penetration. Then the dye vat, where temperature, pH, and immersion time were all judged by eye and experience. Some processes even required fermentation. Indigo vats bubbled with carefully maintained bacterial cultures, and their surfaces were covered with that metallic-looking foam that dyers called the flour. Colour was never merely aesthetic, it was tactical, economic and political. Tyrian purple, extracted from murex snails at staggering cost, became so synonymous with imperial power that Roman law restricted its use to the emperor himself. Byzantine emperors were born in the purple, literally delivered in purple-draped chambers to emphasize their divine right. Sumptuary laws across medieval Europe regulated who could wear which colors, making fabric a visible marker of social hierarchy. Warriors needed specific colors for identification in battle. Monks and nuns wore habits dyed with specific compounds that signaled their orders. The chemical stability of these ancient dye bonds explains why archaeologists can determine a textile's origin, date, and social context from dye analysis alone. Modern chemists studying these techniques have discovered that, actually, some natural dye-mordant fiber complexes are more light-fast than synthetic alternatives. The molecular structure created when madder meets alum and wool forms a complex so stable that, well, it can outlast the fabric itself, the color persisting even as fibers decay around it. Today's fast fashion industry, hemorrhages synthetic dyes into waterways and garments fade within just a few seasons. Yet researchers and textile artists are rediscovering pre-industrial methods, not from nostalgia but really from necessity. These ancient techniques offer blueprints for sustainable dyeing that doesn't poison rivers or rely on petroleum derivatives. The same resilience that helped societies preserve their cultural identity through color is teaching us that durability isn't just about lasting, it's about respecting the resources and knowledge required to create beauty that endures. The pre-industrial dyer survived by understanding that permanence requires patience, that vibrancy demands precision, and that the most resilient colors come from working with nature's chemistry rather than against it. These aren't relics, they're tactical manuals for a future where we must rediscover what our ancestors knew. True survival means creating things that outlast us. If these forgotten techniques of resilience and endurance resonate with you, hit that like button and share this with someone who appreciates the tactical genius hidden in history. Subscribe to The Lost Tactician for more journeys into how humanity survived, adapted, and created lasting legacies against impossible odds. Until next time, remember, the past doesn't fade if we keep its colors alive.